Here's Brody Brazil.
Well, as we recently found out, the A's initial renderings and concepts for a stadium in Las Vegas with potential relocation, what we saw is not going to be anything how it could ever turn out to be. They said, wad those renderings up, start fresh, give us some new designs, get creative with this 9 acres of land. Which also kind of brings up another question in doing a retractable roof, and maybe it's too difficult and too constrained for this site. Would the A's and Las Vegas ever consider building a flat-out dome for a stadium? I mean, with a roof that doesn't move, it doesn't change, doesn't open, doesn't shut. Maybe it's easier, maybe it's cheaper to just do a dome. Now, that's never been part of the consideration or commentary here. I'm just saying I'm throwing this in right now. I don't know that anybody has ever seriously referenced or considered any of this. I'm just throwing it out here as an option because you look across baseball right now, and the league has generally done away with domes over the years. There used to be a lot more than this. Right now, there's 7 retractable roof stadiums, 22 open stadiums, right? No roof structure at all. So majority of them are open air. And there's 1 dome. It also has a connection to Tropicana, as in Tropicana Field. No relation to the Tropicana Hotel. And baseball probably wishes it had 0 domes. I think they hate domes for a number of different reasons that we'll get into. But considering this is Las Vegas and considering that an open-air stadium is off the table, you just cannot do that in the middle of summer and 114-degree temperatures like they've had recently. And what if a retractable stadium either costs too much or you can't pull it off on just 9 acres? What do you do? And are you kind of stuck maybe into building a dome stadium? Let's revisit that 1 dome stadium. It's the only one, Tropicana Field in St. Pete. Highly criticized, the rings, the roof's too low, the ceiling is white, you can't track a baseball, it's just a dead atmosphere. You know, this building was I think it was initially built for the White Sox, and then they tried to draw the Giants there. And then eventually baseball came to Tampa St. Pete. And right now they are desperately trying to replace this facility. But isn't it crazy? The last dome stadium, the only dome stadium in baseball, is largely considered, and I kid you not, worse than the Coliseum, right? And I don't think there's much argument on that. You give me the Coliseum in a day game on a beautiful clear sky, late September day in Oakland, far more enjoyable than inside. Even though the Rays might be a much better team right now, I'm talking about the actual experience. Isn't it crazy that the A's might have to go to something that's largely considered worse than where they're at right now? But, a new dome, a new stadium, all of it would offer something upgraded and something different. Here are the aspects I want to consider of having a fixed roof stadium like a dome. Number 1, you basically have to go with artificial turf. I know there's ways of having a translucent roof and maybe you can grow real grass, but even look at Allegiant Stadium right across the interstate, I-15. They have the field that comes out of the stadium and back in so that they can try and let it see sunlight, natural sun, and grow real grass and bring it back in. And you can't do that with a baseball field. The shape of the field, the logistics, the space, they don't have room for that. So you're kind of stuck going with artificial turf if it's a fixed roof. Also, HVAC costs are crazy, right? At least with an open roof, if it gets cool at night, you can open it up, clear it out, let some cool air come in and, save money that way. Having a dome in Las Vegas in the middle of summer, you know how much that's going to cost per month? I saw some venues in Texas who are paying $500,000 and $600,000 per month just in HVAC costs alone. The other thing about a fixed roof is you can't take advantage of any of those nice nights that you have. April and May, where it'd be great to have a night game outdoors and maybe it's a comfortable 82 degrees at first pitch. You can't have that with a dome. On the flip side, there's less maintenance. You don't have a roof structure that opens and closes. And look, I can tell you, even in Arizona, they've had tremendous problems. Milwaukee right now, tremendous problems with a retractable roof structure. The way it opens, the way it shuts, the mechanics and mechanism of it, it's a ton of cost and a ton of maintenance over the years that are additional to incur. So less maintenance if you just put a roof on it. There's no lights issue. I know that's a big deal right now for the airport and the type of lighting structure they would use. In this ballpark, they've got to get all that approved. If you just put a roof on it, you can do all the lights you want. You could do a light show inside. It doesn't really matter. If there's a fixed roof from the inside, you may not get the same views. Or a hotel that Bally's might build, let's call it Tropicana Part 2, if they were going to build a couple high-rise towers, like in left field and maybe center field and right field, those could have views down inside the ballpark if there's no roof or if the roof is open. But with the roof shut or the roof being closed entirely and fixed, you'll never have a hotel view that looks down into the stadium. But again, it could be a smaller footprint if you just do a fixed roof instead of something that needs to move and like retract on itself, essentially. Okay, how about if you did a retractable roof stadium? Then maybe grass is possible. And I said before that, what's the possibility of grass? This matters to the teams and the players. Not just the fans who don't want to look at a turf field. Players really want to get away from artificial turf, especially on baseball, if they can. Grass is way more possible with a retractable roof stadium. Yeah, this is going to be a lot more expensive to build, like hundreds of millions of dollars more probably for a retractable roof than a fixed roof. Also way more expensive in time. I just talked about the maintenance, but it is the clear preference by everybody. The playing surface for the players, the climate ability to have indoors, outdoors for the fans, everybody else. But yeah, it might also add 3 to 5 acres. If you really need to do this and have to do it the right way, it's going to take more land to do it. But I would also venture to guess that a retractable roof stadium would offer more opportunity. If you're a show or an act or somebody who wants to come in and play at this stadium, and it can be an open roof, maybe that's what you prefer. So maybe that gives this stadium would give it leverage if it had the option to be outdoors. Because right now, T-Mobile Arena, indoors. Allegiant Stadium, even with the, what do they call them, the bay doors or whatever those, indoors. This would be the only opportunity at being outdoors, but how possible is it? And just going back to the fixed roof thing, this is Tropicana Field. It seats 42,735, so 12,000 more, right? So a lot bigger, a lot more seats here than the 30 planned in Las Vegas. But it still takes 3.47 more acres than the A's have currently allotted to them. So less capacity, that much smaller of a footprint? I don't know. Would they build a dome? Will they have to build a dome? Could they? Would they? Should they? Will they? I don't know, but I'm just putting all this out there ahead of time as some things to consider and maybe a possibility. You made it here to the end of the video. I appreciate that. Thumbs up down below. That'll greatly help everybody else see this. Be smart, be civil in the comment section below. And don't forget, subscribe to this channel so that I can definitely see you back here next time.